My guest today is one of the greatest Arizona State softball players ever. She was a four-time All Pac-10 selection and a two-time first-team All-American, and she was inducted into the Sun Devil Hall of Fame in 2008. Lisa Dacquisto, Lisa, such an honor to be talking with you today. And I see that you're a big Dodgers fan, so I have to ask, how excited were you when they won the World Series last year?
I think I shed a tear or two. Very, very exciting. 2020 when they won during COVID, it was a partial season, so everybody says that doesn't count, but last year certainly counted, and I was very, very stoked.
Watching what Otani did last season, the whole 50-50 season, everything that was magical. I mean, that was just incredible to watch.
Very special. Absolutely. And I am repping today his dog, Decoy. That is a Dodger shirt that I just picked up, so I figured why not wear it to this?
Hey, why not, right? Why not?
Gotta represent.
Of course, of course.
Though I should be wearing ASU colors, but oh well. Sorry.
Let's get into your background now. How did you first get interested in the sport of softball?
So I was always an athletic kid. But I tried my hand initially in gymnastics and was terrible because I was afraid of like being on the uneven bars and all that kind of stuff and just falling and all that stuff. So I scratched that. My sister, my older sister, Carla, um, saw that there was softball tryouts for the little like rec league in our area. And so I went ahead and tried out. And I remember trying out for T-ball and getting the call that my skill set was, something where I didn't have to do T-ball. I could go a level up and do where it was pitching. I don't think it was coach pitch. I don't think they had that back then, but I could be wrong. Don't quote me. So my sister introduced me to it, and I just took to it. And I was a catcher of all positions as my very first position. So that's how it started. And I think I was like, I don't know, like 6 or 7, or I don't remember. It's been a very long time. I'm old now, so please forgive my brain.
Certainly, certainly. You attended Ocean View High School,
Yes,
and there you played softball. But I also saw that you did track and field as well, which is super
and
cool.
volleyball.
It so you're doing like all these different sports, right? So what was it like,
Yes.
kind of being in high school and being a multi-sport athlete?
Yeah, I was consumed with sports and practice all year round. So we had volleyball, and then springtime, that was in the fall, and then springtime, brought up track and softball. So I was honestly very dedicated to just being in sports in general and spent a lot of time practicing. Like from a track perspective, I only did that so I could be quicker or faster on the base path in softball. And fortunately had a pretty decent high school career in that. But I used to run with a strength and conditioning coach, Eric Moreno. He's in Huntington Beach still. But he helped me get faster for softball, and my coach Doug at the time in high school was um, helped. They both helped me get like a lot quicker and became, you know, I'm totally going off topic, but beyond that, multi-sport athlete in general. Like my mom would take me like from one practice or a game to another. I would be changing in the car when there was competitions like games and stuff. And from a practice perspective, again, like if it was volleyball, I'd have to get my knee pads on, or my volleyball shoes, or track shoes. My at Ocean View, the softball and track fields are right next to each other. So it's very fortunate to be like sometimes in the middle of a game, but oftentimes during practice at softball, I would have to go run over and do my event and then come back. Most of the time it was during practice because I wouldn't miss a softball game to do a track event or meet. But yeah, it was very interesting. I enjoyed it immensely.
Yes, for sure, for sure. In
Yeah.
what ways would you say that your high school experience helped prepare you for college?
From a sports perspective?
Sure, yeah.
Or just in general. Well, I mean, I was a three sport athlete in high school. So just I think doing all of that and then doing all of like spending off time and practicing and batting practice and running and all that kind of stuff helped kind of gear me up for college because when you're at ASU or any institution where you're representing the team as an athlete or the school as an athlete, you're practicing daily, you're in the weight room, you're training, you're getting physical therapy. I mean, it's a lifestyle. And I kind of started that pre-college because I was just passionate about the sports that I played. So I feel like it helped equip me to for the life at ASU.
Now speaking of ASU, like how did you decide to want to attend ASU? Like what sort of factors, went in to that decision?
I was just extremely comfortable on my recruiting trip. Like I had other visits and in my mind I was like, "Oh, I want to go to this school or that school," and ASU was obviously on that list, but I'm telling you as soon as I went to other schools on my visits and it just didn't click for me. When I went to ASU, I don't know what it was, but I just felt I was at home. And I don't know, very, very just a special moment. I just knew at that point I had to play for the Sun Devils. It was pretty great. It was like a no-brainer for me.
What were your first, impressions? When you see this campus for the first time, and it's a big campus, what were your first impressions like?
I was just like, whoa. Like I mean, I'm at a high school, and the campus there is small in comparison. We don't even have a football field at my high school, or I didn't then anyhow. And going to ASU and going to the game, like the football game, and going on campus and seeing everything it was overwhelming, but like super exciting. And it just got me super, super pumped for my career to start there. And yeah, I remember being overwhelmed, but like super excited at the same time. I wasn't intimidated, but it is overwhelming. Like, gosh, like trying to figure out where your classes are, for example, or they're across the way from each other. And I had classes at a different other campus as well. I can't remember if it was the East or West campus, but just having to like commute all around for my major, interesting as well. Lots of driving, but it was great.
Yes, for sure. And as I said during the intro, you accomplished a lot on the field. What would you say were your greatest assets or skills as a player?
Hitting and my speed. And I was very aggressive, and my body is paying for it now, many surgeries and stuff. But like I think being aggressive and a go-getter, and just the hitting and speed, I think were my two, like my number two or top two assets. Loved defense and stuff, but my last 2 years, for example, at ASU, because I've had a couple shoulder surgeries, was just as a DP or designated player, and hit like Shohei Ohtani, right? With the Dodgers. But yeah, I was a hitter and played defense every so often, but I had to just give my shoulder a rest. So I just spent practices hitting on a tee while everybody else was doing their defensive drills and stuff. I sat and played with myself on a tee and just hit the ball, hit the ball, hit the ball. And I mean, it paid off, definitely. So hopefully, yeah, we got just I don't know. It was just great to be able to contribute to the team and get hits and know what I was doing wrong if I was miss swinging or if the ball was coming off the bat a certain way. Like being on that tee, they tell you, I mean, it always feels boring as a kid, but that really, really makes a difference on the hitting game. And highly recommend it. It's not boring. It's useful.
What were some of the challenges that you had to overcome during your college career?
Sports wise, just not, I mean, I don't know. I mean, getting used to the heat obviously was is a challenge. Southern California doesn't get as hot typically as Arizona or Tempe, but staying hydrated and all that kind of stuff. There didn't feel like there was that many challenges in terms of like just engaging with my teammates. I loved my team dearly, still do in contact with them. I loved my coaching staff, but so I don't think of challenges, I guess. I don't just making sure that we're always just on point and there for each other, you know. I don't know. I'm very hard on myself too. So, we lost and maybe I did something wrong. I would dwell a lot on what went wrong, how it could be better, how the team, how I can contribute to the success of the team for the next game. So I think it was just probably my own worst critic, very hard on myself. So maybe that's a challenge, or was. I still am. I feel like I've carried that with me through life.
Are there any specific games or moments during your time at ASU that really stand out to you?
Not particularly. I hate saying that. I mean, obviously my senior year when we made it to the playoffs and all that kind of stuff, that was fantastic. We had a great team, great camaraderie. That was fabulous. From an injury perspective, I do remember we were playing Berkeley in at Cal, and I remember sliding in catcher Gillian Box. She was the catcher for the Olympics for the '96 Olympics, but I slid into her and didn't realize it. I was out. We're all like in a circle. I was the third out of the inning. We were in a circle, kind of like figuring out as a team what we're going to do before we hit the field. And then I looked down and realized I got cleated and I had a big old gash in my leg. So that was
Oh,
definitely a memory, and I still have the scar for it. But I went out and played anyway. It was like, okay, well, I'm cut, but that's okay. We'll just bandage up and get out on the field. I remember that very clearly. And it was a friend of mine. So I was like, dang it, like we we'll always be connected that way.
yep. What were some of your favorite things to do or places to go just around campus or in Tempe?
Oh gosh. So I lived off campus with my roommate Erin. She was on the softball team, Erin Hull. So we lived in Mesa, in an apartment complex there. But like what we would literally we would obviously like you go out. Was it Mulaney's? I forget the bar. There was a bar that we would go to after football games, like the teams that like the athletes would meet up with the football players afterwards, and we would do that sort of thing. I feel like it was called Mulaney's. I can't remember. I honestly feel like my memory is shot from almost 30 years ago. But there was that. Of course, we would go to the movies and all that sort of stuff as well. Nothing major though, because we were honestly very busy people. And I was a science major in high school, in college, and I had a lot of studying and study hall and tutoring and all that stuff to deal with as well. So I was I was a homebody for a good deal of it as well. But we had our fun. We had our fun, but I was definitely like needing to keep my grades up. So tutoring sessions it was
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
fun.
Gosh, you guys should so you were a science major, gosh. I mean, that's really cool.
Pre-vet. Yeah.
Wow. So do you remember like any like sort of classes that you took?
Yeah, I took like organic chemistry and biochemistry and regular chemistry, obviously, organic chemistry and microbiology. Like it was heavy. But it was interesting at the same time. And of course, my career, I did nothing. I did nothing related to the sciences and what I do now, but it was awesome and I got to learn a lot and it was very interesting. So,
Yeah,
and
for
tough and tough.
yeah. Linda Wells was your head coach at
Yes.
Arizona State. What were some of the most important things that you learned from her?
She was a very calm presence. Like I don't know, she just we had a special connection, she and I did. She was very she was an advocate, I guess, for me to come to ASU and all of that. And we got along. We still do. I'm still in contact with Linda Wells. She's amazing. But she believed in me. And I think that's all it took, just to have somebody that had the confidence in you to contribute to the success of the team, was just all that I needed. And I feel like as a player personally, I'm sure it's like this for a lot of other people too, but I feel like I need to have a connection with my coaching staff and my team members in order for me to personally thrive. And I felt like I had that in Linda and the coaching staff in general. We had different assistant coaches, but like Ann Rowan, who is a player at ASU before me, and Liz Kelly and some other folks. But having connections with them was very important for me to be able to feel like I can be successful for the team.
You were inducted into the Sun Devil Hall of Fame in 2008, and you were a part of a wonderful class that included names like Bruce Snyder, Eric Allen, and of course, Pat Tillman. Uh, how did you first find out that you were an inductee in this class?
I'm trying to remember. I think I got a phone call. I feel like it was a phone call. Maybe it was an email, but I remember just like wow, like this is such an honor. It was, it was incredible. And I actually wore Pat's jersey on the field with his parents, standing alongside his parents when we got to go on the field with our little pictures and stuff. It was it was an honor. And it was definitely shocking. So I was pretty proud.
Yeah, yes, for sure. And just sort of in general, I mean, just what did it mean to you to be honored by ASU in such a big way?
It meant the world to me. It still does. And it just makes you think all that hard work that you put in high school and not going out on the weekends and all that kind of stuff. Like it just, you're getting recognized for your hard work and your dedication. Um, I don't know, but I couldn't be who I was without my team. And I'm just thankful to be honored and be considered among the class in 2008. It was pretty awesome.
It sure is. It sure is. You're among the greats in ASU history.
Thank you.
I mean, that's pretty amazing. So,
I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't feel like it. Like I'm just a kid. I'm just a kid, or I was just a kid. Not anymore. I'm 50 now, but um, I don't know. I appreciate you saying that though.
yeah, of course, of course. What would you say is the overall impact that ASU has had on your life?
It's had it's had a great impact. It's funny because I never held a job until after college. And my job was being an athlete and representing Arizona State. But the life lessons that I carry with me today are things that I learned on the field, like just teamwork as a prime example. Like, and having the team that I had and got to be on at Arizona State with all of these wonderful girls and coaches, like it just I carry those memories with me dearly. And again, life lessons, anything, even like when I'm struggling at work, or like if I have a something that I have to solve, like I always draw back to my days there. Like, how did I handle it in this scenario as an athlete? Because that's not ever having had a job. Like that's all that I have to rely on in terms of how to react or how to manage a particular situation. So yeah, I will carry that experience with me at Arizona State till the day I die. I'm very, very, very honored to have gone there. Sun Devil for life.
Hey, Sun Devil for life, absolutely. What sort of stuff have you been up to, sort of in recent years, like in terms of like your job or career, like what have you been up to?
Well, I haven't played sports. I wish I would have. I work out but I've had 14 operations, and more than half of them is because of sports. Like I was very hard on my body. So but I did play on the corporate softball team like 12 years ago, and that was fun. But that was it. I had to hang my cleats up after my third, or yeah, I don't know. I've had multiple surgeries. I just couldn't remember which one is the one I hung my cleats up for. Um, but what was your question? Oh, what am I up to now? But I'm still working at the same company for 13 years. It's called VeriSign. And I am working, it's more technology based, and I really like it. It's I've got a wonderful team and do some great things and have the opportunity to help make our internet a little bit of a safer place. Like that's kind of our mission, is to stay with the security and stability of the internet. So I help contribute to that mission every day. And it's been great. And I'm hoping that I can work there till I retire. I love it.
The internet, it's a crazy place out there. The internet,
It's a vast space.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, there's so much out there. It's kind of, it's pretty crazy. So the fact that you're helping to kind of, keep it safe, you're doing great work. So I really respect that.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And then otherwise, like from a non-work perspective, I am married. I've got 4 dogs that are all rescues, and we camp a lot. We live our days during, it's actually this weekend's opening season. We camp almost every weekend, and we absolutely love it. So yeah,
Love camping. Love camping. It's all,
it's so great.
being out in nature. Oh, it's
You
wonderful.
can't beat it. Now, of course, we've got a big old fifth wheel like that. We have an office in there that we're able to work from when, if we don't want to go home for the week, we can work from there. So it's kind of glamping, but that's okay. It's still great, and we're still able to step out and be in nature when we want to, or we can stay inside and watch a movie with our dogs. It's pretty great.
Yes, yes, for sure. Now, last question here. What is the biggest piece of advice that you have for aspiring softball players?
Yeah. It's funny. I think about that often, like what I would tell, because I haven't coached or anything like that in a very, very long time. But just if you're interested in the sport, or any sport for that matter, but as a softball player, like you have to put the work in. Like getting a scholarship is, I mean, you really need to dazzle the people that are recruiting you, and be a team player. It's not about you, it's about the success of your team. And if you do great, and hopefully the rest of your team does, then you win games, right? But staying staying true to yourself, and dedicated to the craft of the sport, and loyal to your teammates, I think it can take you a long way. And you know what? It's okay. You don't have to go out every weekend, like, or just do your studies, go to batting practice after school sometime, or even on the weekends. Just think about what, how you're going to improve yourself, or how you're going, for the sake of the team. I don't know. That's what I did. My stepfather was my coach through all the way through, up until college. And so I mean, we hit it hard every day. We were doing something. And yeah, it's probably a little overkill for most, but I don't think I would have had it any other way. And it allowed me to get very close to my stepfather. But it also helped me catch the eye of Linda Wells, like, for example. Like, and the rest is history. After I visited ASU, like you said, like you did, like you just know, like this is my home. And I think the hard work and the dedication kind of helped me get there.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for giving me some of your time today. Being
Of
able
course.
to, being able to go down memory lane with you was a lot of fun. So,
Thank you. I had to like dip into the memory. It's been a long time since I've, played and been at ASU. So it's really happy. I'm happy to relive it with you. And I really need to make it out there for an alumni event. I have not done that. And that is bad on me. So I do need to make a commitment to be out there at some point in the next couple of years. And maybe we'll meet.
yeah. That would be awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would love that. So,
great.
yes,
Thank you so much for thinking of me and wanting to talk about my career at ASU. I really appreciate it.